Sai Maa. Hello, everybody. Oh, so beautiful to see you all. I'm just taking you in. Ah, so wonderful to see you. And thank you for joining me on so short notice. I think 24 hours notice. That might even be a record for me. But I had to see you. So, and life as your higher self means living life in that connection with that deep part of you. And so I'm in this little guest house in Izu because we don't have any internet over there yet. And just as I hit the start button, they start cleaning out in the hall. So whatever happens, whatever is, I know it's all in perfection. We're all together, right? So how are you? How are yourselves, yourselves? So I should introduce myself. My name is Reiko Maa, or Reiko Maa, as I am known in Japan. And I am living in this incredible moment of what's called now on planet Earth, which comes with a variety of different experiences. Have you noticed? The moment you thought you kind of got it pegged, it all changes. So, as we're heading into these amazing times, or as we've dived into these amazing times with Her Holiness Sai Maa and the programs and the veil and the health span and everything coming up, and Ma's coming to Japan in just a couple of weeks, with all of that's coming up, an incredible surge of energy is going through the whole planet. I think you might be feeling it. Maybe for some, it's like this gentle rocking. For others, it's like this big tsunami and tidal wave. But whatever is coming, it's so important that we start getting a much stronger sense of that internal compass and internal guidance. And as Ma has mentioned on numerous occasions, the time of the guru, who's been like this external created guide that we've brought into our lives to reflect our higher selves, reflect spirit and soul to us, that time is coming to an end. And it's our time to start really connecting to that aspect of the guru within, meaning spirit, meaning higher self, meaning soul, or meaning atma, however we refer to that aspect of that knowingness inside. And my background, as many of you know, is very kind of multifold. I grew up in 3 cultures, in Japan, in Europe, Germany, and the US. I've been in finance in one of the biggest financial investment banks of the US, and I've been a healer, I've been a nomad, I've been many things. And I would say my first really strong encounter with spirit came in a crisis moment when I was 16. So I like to say I've been on the spiritual path for 45 years, which if you do the math, you can see how long I've been on the planet. But there's that part, and I know that we all have experienced that. And I know that we've all experienced it. And these 4 days is really about solidifying this incredible relationship that we have to an aspect of ourselves that is so incredible and will be like this beacon from within that will support and guide us through these times that we're in. Okay, so that's why I invited you here. That's why I'm just looking forward to having a few days with you. This guidance to do this came from higher self. And so And I gave this program in Japan about a month ago, but I did not look back at any of my notes. I did not look back at anything, because whatever comes up here is my higher self and your higher selves communicating together as to what's really essential in this moment. Because everything's shifting, and what was important a month ago, or for the people who are on that program, is going to be very different from what's important here. So just know that I'm speaking to you, each one of you, directly, living life as higher self, and knowing that you're living life as your higher self. Okay? And that goes as well as for anybody who's watching this as a recording. And I'm keeping it relatively short so that it's an ease, that it's something you can take in with ease. And it's really a remembering, an activation, a tuning into and acknowledging, as well as building confidence and knowing that you are so connected, so loved. And when you say Ma lives in your hearts, because I know each one of you have said that at some point, knowing that Ma lives in your heart is your higher self living in your heart. And it's really connecting to that aspect on a conscious basis, very aware. Okay? So higher self, what, like a question that comes up often. So what's the difference between higher self, soul, atma, spirit? Like, what are the nuances here? And I would say it's all part of the same continuum. We could put labels on it to maybe get a sense of a certain aspect, but it's all part of this greatness, spirit. I like to, when I say spirit, because I've been talking to spirit for that, from that day when I was 16. It was actually, I was going up some temple stairs at a Japanese temple in Japan. I was in high school. I was really having a hard time. Really, I didn't speak the language. I had a hard time in school relating to the culture. And there was a Rotary exchange student who came from Australia. And she spent a semester, I think, at our school. And since I was the English speaker, I was kind of her buddy. And coming from the Rotary Club, she was very, I just remember her being very Christian. I don't know if that was Catholic or whatever, just very, very Christian. And for her, like temple and Japanese, the Buddhism was like, ooh, I don't know about this. Like, does God actually reside here? It's like one of these, okay, big question that comes up in high school when you're 16. Who is God? So we were walking in the temple, and it was kind of like that contemplation, you know, church, temples. Is it sacrilegious for her to walk into a temple? It was really at that level, like, oh, is she going to get in trouble with God for entering a Japanese Shinto temple? And there were a long line of stairs leading up to the temple, and we start walking up, and we're talking about God in terms of spirit, God in terms of this presence, like just seeing how she feels this presence when she's communicating with God. And as we're walking up the stairs, like, so if this presence is in our lives, does it really matter if it's in a Japanese temple or a Catholic church or a synagogue or whatever? Does that really is that chalice that we meet God in, does it really matter? And it's walking, we're having this conversation going up the steps. It was a long flight of steps, and it was kind of like huffing and puffing up. And at a point, suddenly, and we both felt it at the same time, we felt this buoyancy. And it was really steep, buoyancy. And the more we talked about this essence, the spirit, God, however we wanted to name it, him, her, it would get lighter and lighter. And as we continued in our conversation, we noticed we were flying up these stairs. We were literally being elevated up, like light as a feather, just going up. And we, at the end, we're running up these stairs, effortless. And we land at the top. We said, whatever that was spirit. That is spirit. That is God. That is this essence. And in that moment, we looked at each other like, the outer representation really doesn't matter, because it's something that resides inside of us. And however we choose to see that or experience that is personal. And from that moment, that was when I felt that something bigger, something greater. And I started to refer to that something as spirit. I would talk to spirit. I would ask. And in different parts of my journey, different spirit would relate to me in different ways, give me messages in different ways. I just noticed it's 11:11 right now in Japan. And at a point, spirit led me on just different paths. And there were times when it was kind of a feeling inside, should I do this, should I not? And just going with the gut feeling, as we might call it. And there were times when I would go against it and regret it. That gut feeling, oh, I knew that, but my mind told me differently. And I know we've all done that, right? Darn. But what I've come to realize at every moment, every turn, it doesn't matter whether I said yes and followed that voice, or said, maybe not, and followed a different voice. Somehow spirit has a way of kind of bringing me back. And then, so that was my definition of spirit, something greater, nebulous. It was a voice, it was a feeling, it was something, but it was outside of me in a sense. It was something greater that I would ask, like, great spirit, please guide me. Spirit, show me. It was like I could refer to this energy. And then I'll skip around timelines, and over 4 days, there'll be different parts that will come up. But today's kind of just giving an overview of what got me here, and hope, and as I speak, just notice what kind of bubbles for you, what aha moments come up for you, what, oh yeah, that comes up for you, because that's spirit nudging. And when I speak about higher self, my first reference to higher self, or the first time I actually heard that term, was in my work with Drumble Melchizedek in the Flower of Life. And for those of you who maybe don't know Drumble, he is an amazing being from way in our future, who's incarnated now to kind of watch the experiment. He like knows where we ended up, at least in his timeline, but doesn't know how we got there. So kind of coming back to this timeline, in a way, as an observer, but also bringing but bringing amazing teachings, but also observing what's going on here. And I had the amazing opportunity to work closely with him for several years, and is a dear friend to me, and mentor. And there's a point where in his teachings of the Flower of Life in the Merkaba, he talks about connecting with higher self. And I still remember vividly that moment where he talks about this aspect of him that he calls higher self as being this external aspect, like the angels. I think at first he called them the angels. And there was a point where he because he came in not remembering fully who he is, and he went through that process so that he could remember and he could guide. And there's a point where he said the higher self, his higher self, came down like in front of him, turned around like it's back to him, and backed up into him, where he merged with that aspect of himself. And that was the first real reference that I had to this word or concept of higher self. And there's spirit, the great spirit, the great spirit. And then there's the higher self, which is like that vibrational aspect of who we are, because we're living in all these vibrations. There's us here in this dimension, and who knows what this dimension is anymore. It used to be the third dimension. I think it was somewhere between third, fourth, and fifth dimension at this point. But whatever dimension we're in, there's that dimension that we're in, and then there's a fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and on aspects of ourselves in this whole continuum of this ray of existence of who we are as spirit, spirit encompassing all of that, but spirit being that aspect that's always been connected to source, that hasn't forgotten, that has like the whole overview. And higher self is like that transformer, that aspect that almost like the interpreter and translator of that really, really higher realm of who we are, to relate it to where we are, but just elevated enough to kind of bring us up to a next level. And so I see higher self as that aspect of me that has this up in like maybe 1,000 feet up, kind of looking, you know, how when we're in the streets, like driving in Tokyo, which has probably the worst driving conditions, and like you think if you go left, left, and left, you'd end up at the same place, but if you try driving in Tokyo, left, left, and left brings you to a totally different part of the city. So I have no idea how they navigated it before sat nav. Really, like it's just however they built it. There's no logic to the streets in Tokyo. So having that somebody from that higher aspect saying, no, 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 you got to turn over here. No, you should go over there. I see your destination over there. Let's bring you around this way, would be a huge help. And that's higher self in us, like soul, that part that incarnates lifetime after lifetime, that has the knowledge of all the lifetimes that we've lived, has that reservoir of all of the information and why we've come here and what we've come here with, has a agenda. Soul has an agenda coming here, you know, coming to planet Earth, because soul's really connected to the Earth. This is my understanding, to our Earth lifetimes. You know, if you think of Earth as being a school, our soul is the one that's carrying our curriculum, is holding the curriculum. Okay, you're going to go down, you're going down to the third grade this time. This is your curriculum. This is what you're going to learn. You missed this class last time. You might have to redo this, but you're really good at that one. So maybe you can skip forward 2 or 3 classes, and let's get you through school on planet Earth. And you start with kindergarten, going through middle school, high school, maybe university, maybe even got a PhD. Maybe you're even on your 10th PhD on planet Earth. And you're still coming back for more. To each his own, or her own. Soul has all that knowledge. And the soul has an agenda. The higher self is that higher vibrational aspect of us who also knows the soul's agenda and saying, okay, you're supposed to go to room 301 for this class. Tomorrow, your teacher's going to show up. Okay, let's get you over there. The higher self can give you that information, that it can give you that guidance if you want to move into that vibration, because higher self lives and moves in that place of vibration. Where here on earth, our barometer is kind of our feelings and our logic. And you may have noticed our feelings and logic don't always lead us to the right place. Because a lot of those feelings and logic are built on a past. It's built on information coming from a past that, especially now, is no longer even relevant. We've shifted from an era of Kali Yuga, and I don't know, the way I understand Kali Yuga is it's like living in a life of maybe 75, 80% falsehood. And there's this little bit of, or this bit of truth that kind of like is in there. But most everything is an illusion. When I say falsehood, it's the mirror, it's an illusion, it's not real. And living in that place of like when you're dreaming at night, there's like no solidity to the Kali Yuga. And then we wake up into what's truth, satya, reality. We're waking up into a new era. So whatever went on in Kali Yuga, because Kali Yuga was going against the force of nature, against the laws of nature. It's like that rocket ship trying to take off from the earth. It needs a lot of energy to move because we're working against the force of nature. Satya Yuga is like if you're standing on some stairs and jump, effortlessly you will jump onto the ground, yes? Satya Yuga is that effortless because we're working with the laws of nature. And so many of us are still thinking we're in Kali Yuga, that we have to go against, we have to work hard and work harder and make more effort, and we have to do this, and all these filters that we've kind of put in place from Kali Yuga, we've carried over. And so if we try to live life here from knowledge, from just what we've picked up in Kali Yuga, it's not going to work really well or easily. As the vacuum cleaner is vacuuming up the hall, it's time to vacuum up all that residual memory and energy and logic and thoughts and understanding and beliefs, the lie and the beliefs that we've picked up over eons of living in Kali Yuga. Let them clear and start receiving that information, that knowledge directly from source via the higher self. Just, it makes my heart just go, yes, yippee. It means I don't have to struggle. All I have to do is shift into ease. I don't have to be that rocket just fighting against gravity just to get into orbit. Because I am that celestial energy. I am that being beyond the veil. I am that already. It's already in the words, I am that I am. Satchitananda, I am bliss. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma, I am source, I am unbounded awareness and all that is. All I have to do is shift into that and everything else will flow. We live in such an amazing time. Such amazing potential. And we are so fortunate that we have Ma taking us hand in hand into that light, into that ascension, into that glory of who we are, and connecting us with our higher self and say, here, you've got it all right here. Listen, relax, ease into what spirit is guiding, higher self is showing. So how many of you are up for a shift to live life as your higher self? Fantastic. And as you may have felt, you feel that energy because there's so much activation here. I mean, I'm tapping into the activation that Mom's putting out for all of us at this time on the planet. And I know there's a lot of programs. I know that people are feeling, oh my gosh, which ones do I do? How much, how can I do anymore? Can I actually take in anymore? Am I going to explode? Ease into it. It's just say relax into it. Let it wash over you. Even if you don't understand a word of what's being said or taught, even if you fall asleep, feel that Shakti. I mean, when I was first teaching with Drumbalo, with the Flower of Life, and I transcribed and translated and dug 20 hours of Drumbalo. So for a year, that's all I had in my ear was Drumbalo's voice. That's how I learned Japanese, by the way. So that's why I can quote word verbatim a lot of what he said in that program. But he also said at the very beginning, just be present, just be there. Even if you fall asleep, it's okay. Just be there, because it's actually good if you fall asleep, because then your conscious mind is out of the way and the subconscious can absorb it all. So it's okay. Just absorb it all. And trust. Trust your higher self. Trust if you feel, I need to be there. There's something that's calling me and I don't know what. Just show up for it. Everything else will follow. I don't know how many times in this whole journey I just said, I'm just going to show up. I have no idea how it's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. I was living in Palo Alto as a single mom, working 14 hours trying to raise a 3-year-old who had spent all day in a daycare center, who wasn't even speaking yet. And finally, I was like, Spirit, this isn't working. I'm working around the clock to pay for daycare. Something's not right in this picture. And so I asked my retired mom, actually my mom never worked, so my mom on pension, to give me enough money to move to Crestone. I moved with a child packed into my little Subaru with no aspect of what's going to happen, or no concept of what's going to happen when I got there, with like $300 to my name, I think. And just trusted. And what is there with spirit? No, not saying just throw everything into this and just don't worry about it. But I'm saying that connect to spirit, connect to the Shakti. And it might say no, not this program. And that is totally fine. That's what I want you to hear, is more about, should I do this? Do I need to do this? But what is my heart telling me? And I know I said 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to go with the 40 minutes today, if that's okay with you. I'm going to invite you to take a moment in the heart and just allow yourself to be pulled into this place in that heart. There's a vortex of energy that's connected all the way to source, connected all the way to Antakarana. Inviting you to breathe into that place, that space deep within. and expand into that space. Let that pinpoint of a space become the universe. And invite your higher self to be present, whatever aspect of higher self that is calling to be present now in your life. Allow that to be present in that space, in the heart, in that connection to source. And invite that higher self aspect to grow from that pinpoint of a space of that eternality of source, universal consciousness, to expand from the heart through your whole being, the physical body, the energy bodies. Feel that vibrating through your cells. You may feel a tingling in your cells, in your body, in your energy field. And however your higher self is connected or communicating with you, whether it's through vision or a knowingness or a word, just open to whatever your higher self is communicating to you in this moment. And know that the higher self only exists in this moment. You only exist in this moment. This moment is the eternality, is the eternal. And in this moment of this connection, you are creating your reality. And you choose as you, as higher self, as this higher aspect of yourself in each moment. What is in your life? What you're choosing in your life? What you're experiencing in your life? What you are deciding to hold in your life? And bring that intention, a life of light, of living as source on this plane, a life of living as higher self here in the physical body, a life of love, of joy, of fulfillment, of service. Just take whatever that intention is and drop it into this field. Into this field that resonates in that vibration of higher self. And know that it is already manifest in your life. Higher self, please guide me. Spirit, great spirit, allow through the higher self, my higher self, allow me to be guided to the highest good, to the highest of my potential, to the highest of what I have come here for. Let me guide me into the fulfillment of my dharma here on planet Earth. I've come here for this, at this time, specifically to experience this amazing transition time. Let me be guided to the highest of what is here. Let me share my gifts that I have accumulated over lifetimes. Let my gifts serve all who seek. Let me live from this place of that knowingness. Let the knowingness that I am come through me in my life. And let it be. And drop your intention into the field. Feel it being absorbed in the higher self as the higher self moves to guide you in your prayers, in your walk on this planet. You'll know the next steps. And whatever steps you know you are to take, know that you will be supported. You are supported. So don't go into lack. Don't go into fear. Don't go into worry. But open, 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 open to all that's being offered, because so much more is being offered than you can even comprehend. And it's all for the taking right now. So thank you for joining me. I hope you join me for the remaining 3 days as we move deeper into this work together. I hope you join us with Her Holiness Sai Maa for Earthspan coming up this weekend. And I hope you join me with Ma as Ma comes to Japan. It's going to be a lot of silence. It's going to be a lot of transmission. It's going to be a lot of this, absorbing, moving into the frequency, anchoring the frequency of love, of spirit, of walking and moving into that knowingness and fully, fully embodying who we are. I love you, each and every one of you. I'm so honored to be on this earth walk with my group, with my community, with my beloveds. And I look forward to our continued time together. We'll get a way to post this for you. Share it, be it, embody it, take it in, drink it in, absorb it. Put it up on YouTube. We'll send you a link. However, just put it out. It's time to put it out. Time to put out all the light. JJ Sai Maa. Thank you so much, JJ Sai Maa. My higher self to your higher selves. Let us enjoy this journey together.